Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
It is the last thing you want to see at a loved one's grave, vandalism. But it happened at a local cemetery, and a lot of people don't even know about it. Do you know someone buried here?
Plus, a grisly discovery in a Bandera County neighborhood. 2 bodies. How police found them.
We want to make sure that people are mindful of the need for us to be good stewards of our water supply.
And water wasters beware. The San Antonio water system thinking about changing the penalties for those that ignore water restrictions. What that means for you. But first.
Tonight, more problems for Donald Trump. A grand jury today indicting the former president on 4 counts.
Yeah, this is Trump's 3rd indictment since leaving the White House. The new charges related to the special counsel investigation into the former president's efforts to overturn the 2020 election, including the attack at the U.S. Capitol. That includes conspiracy to defraud the U.S., conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights.
Now, prosecutors say that Trump, quote, spread lies that there had been outcome determinative fraud in the election and that he had actually won. Those claims were false, and the defendant knew they were false, end quote.
Prosecutors also saying Trump worked to, in part, quote, to create an intense national atmosphere of mistrust and anger and erode public faith in the administration of the election, end quote. Here's part of the president's speech from January 6th, 2021.
We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue and we're going to the Capitol. We're going to try and give them the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country.
Tonight, the former president took to Truth Social, lashing out, claiming special counsel Jack Smith is interfering with the 2024 presidential election. Smith addressed the indictment earlier this afternoon.
The attack on our nation's capital on January 6th, 2021 was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies.
Other lawmakers sounding off following the news of Trump's latest indictment. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, along with House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, issuing a joint statement today. It says in part, the 3rd indictment of the former president is, quote, the most serious and most consequential thus far, and will stand as a stark reminder to generations of Americans that no one, including a president of the United States, is above the law, end quote.
Meanwhile, Representative Elise Stefanik of New York, the 3rd-ranking House Republican, called the indictment, quote, an illegal attempt to interfere in the 2024 election. House Judiciary Committee Chair Representative Jim Jordan, also a Republican, tweeted, quote, when you drain the swamp fights back. President Trump did nothing wrong, end quote. So what happens next? Trump due in court on Thursday afternoon, this Thursday, before a U.S. district judge. We're going to continue following this story both on air and online. What would you do if you went to visit your loved one's grave and you saw this?
Yeah, it's exactly what one man noticed when he tried paying his respects to his great-grandfather. And this is the thing. His headstone wasn't the only one that was damaged. The Night Team's John Paul Barajas takes us to City Cemetery number 3 and speaks to people whose family members are buried there.
Sliced in half, pushed over, broken, and crosses ripped off. No matter where you look, there's a damaged headstone at City Cemetery number 3 on the east side.
These are supposed to be our loved family members, and trying to see this happen, this desecration.
Ruben Lozano says he came to pay his respects to his great-grandfather a week ago, expecting to see this as he did 3 months ago, but instead found the headstone toppled over.
It says, oh my gosh, look. Yeah, it just kind of tugs at your heart.
Lozano often visits the cemetery to reminisce and remember his family's history. His great-grandfather was buried here in 1916, more than a century ago.
I showed a photo of this to my mom. She's 92, and she didn't start crying, but she was close to it.
Now his family wants to know why someone would cause this damage and how they were able to do it.
Knock something like this over, either have to have several strong guys to do this, or a vehicle with a strap or something to pull it over.
By the look of it, whoever did this took their time going through the entire cemetery. And going forward, Lozano's hoping for a more secure gate and has this message to those responsible.
Come on, guys. Have a little respect. I don't think they'd like it if we'd go into their house and start knocking their crap over.
Now, Lozano did file a police report today, so SAPD is aware, and we also contacted city officials as well as submitted pictures of the damages, so they are also investigating. As far as who's going to have to foot the bill for all the damages, that's still not clear yet, but city officials do want to remind residents that if you see something of this nature, to report it to 311 as soon as possible so they can be made aware about it. At City Hall, John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Good reminder, John Paul. Thank you. Now, people working for Bexar County, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, are getting pay raises. The Bexar County Commissioners unanimously approved that increase today. The raise is going into effect immediately. The average pay raise would be 9%. Sheriff Javier Salazar says that this decision allows the department to be competitive when it comes to recruitment and also strict when it comes to the standards that it's expecting from its employees. So let's break it down for you in dollars and cents. The starting salary for a patrol deputy would go from $58,000 to $61,000, and detention officers would go from making $41,900 a year to an even $45,000. Now, the Deputy Sheriff's Association of Bexar County did make some compromises. It's giving up a 2.5% raise in the next 2 years. That was part of the collective bargaining agreement.
A Bandera County man now charged in a double murder.
Now, the sheriff's office confirmed that Michael Andrew Novak's arrest today, several days after the bodies were found at a home on Wharton Dock Road.
Tonight, Team's Patty Santos spoke to a neighbor about Novak.
Bandera County Sheriff investigators say Michael Andrew Novak is facing 2 murder charges and being held on a $1 million bond.
He was a loner. Pretty much stayed to himself. You see him come out of the gate sometimes, walking and talking to himself.
Elizabeth Miller lives on Wardock Road, just across the home where Novak was arrested Friday. Miller says Novak was staying in that home with his mother and her boyfriend.
And they were just real good people. If you needed something, you could go and ask them. If they had it, they'd help, or they'd, help you with anything.
Miller is friends with a couple who she says has not been seen or heard from for a few days. However, the sheriff's office has not yet identified the 2 victims. State records show Novak has a criminal history dating back to when he was a juvenile. It includes a charge for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, along with drug charges.
There's just something about him that just didn't sit right with me. But I never thought he would do that.
Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
Let's go now to your Nightbeat News Flash for a look at some of today's big headlines. A man will be going to prison for 7 years after killing a 15-year-old girl in a hit-and-run crash in February of 2021. Miguel Barbosa accepted a plea deal in the case today. Police say Barbosa hit Marissa Duran with his vehicle on Medina Base Road, not far from Moon Valley. Duran died at the scene. During the sentencing today, Barbosa broke down in tears as he apologized to her family. A former Judson ISD teacher who was arrested last year for sharing child pornography facing new charges after a recent arrest. 27-year-old Mark Mallow arrested again last month after Converse police say he was having inappropriate contact with someone he believed was a 14-year-old boy through social media. Mallow charged with possession of child pornography, online solicitation of a minor, and violation of bond. Police say Mallow sent explicit photos and set up a time to meet with the person he thought was that child. When he showed up to the meeting, police arrested him. He was out on a bond from a 2022 child pornography arrest. And that's a look at your Nightbeat News Flash. Mental health experts shedding light on something we're seeing locally right before the school year starts.
Yeah, and that's teacher burnout. It's happening with teachers who teach kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, so many of them. The National Education Association looked into it and released a report. It said that burnout is affecting teachers and students. So local mental health experts say that recognizing the signs and the symptoms of burnout is a vital first step.
When you are working in a helping profession, which teachers are now in a helping profession, that burnout is something that will be experienced and will happen. And so I think acceptance of the fact that burnout is a thing and is going to occur is the best place to start, right?
Mental health experts say providing the necessary resources and support to educators is vital to maintaining a vibrant educational system.
A local Mexican restaurant is going green with a new amenity. We'll explain.
And it's a brand new mural that's being installed at the UTSA downtown campus. The meaning behind the artwork. Coming up. Using too much water, watering on the wrong day, the San Antonio water system considering a change to its watering rules and how it goes after customers who don't follow those rules. Right now, those who violate the watering rules can receive a municipal court citation. SAW says it's handed out more than 3,000 citations since the beginning of the year. But as Mayor Ron Nirenberg explained during our KSAT Q&A at 6 o'clock tonight, SAWS could replace citations with a new charge on your bill.
One of those significant changes being, let's not go through a criminal process. Let's not go put it on the courts. Let's talk about it as a fine that could just go onto the SAWS bill. For the 10% or folks or even less that actually go through this, it would be a much more efficient way of reminding folks about our need to conserve water, and it would be an easier way for everyone to handle the situation.
Now, SAWS officials say that change could make things easier for customers who do not live in the city of San Antonio. It's still collecting public input. Its board expected to vote on proposed changes within 6 to 8 months, and a change would also require city council approval. You can find the details on SAWS proposal and the current watering schedule right now on KSAT.com.
So this was created to show students their limitless potential. We're talking about this piece here. It's a portion of a new mural at UTSA's downtown campus. Crews began installing the 60-foot-long tile piece today on the corner of the School of Data Science building. It's called Discovery Enterprise, and it was commissioned by artist Mark Hoganson. Now, the school says that it offers a new look into the future in an age of continual expansion, and crews should finish installing the mural tiles overnight. So we'll see it soon.
A popular local Mexican restaurant killing 2 birds with 1 stone. That's a pretty smart idea.
Yeah, so this right here is video that was taken earlier today at La Hacienda de los Barrios on Redland Road, where solar carports were installed right here.
Yeah.
Now, they provide shade for guests, and they'll also help the restaurant save money on energy costs.
Now, according to Big Sun Solar, which is the company that installed all of these huge carport panels, the 444 panels will provide shade for about 56 parking spots and save around $25,000 a year in energy costs.
Viola's Ventanas on Westover Hills Boulevard also got those same solar panels. Solar panels. This is definitely the time that we should start considering that, right? 93 degrees, even at 10:15 right now. Geez, Adam.
Record challenging heat on the way again. Today we missed the record high temperature, that is, by 1 degree. And take a look at our temperature trend going forward here the next 7 days. We're going to be above 100 and most likely making it to 104 to even 105. We're expecting 102 tomorrow. That'd be shy of a record by 1 degree. But by Thursday, 103. Friday, we're up to 104, and looks like we'll hold right around there all the way into next week. Now, notice I put those records on there, those little record tabs. Each of these days, the 5 included here, we are expecting to at least tie or break the record high temperature on those days that are denoted. Today, 102, the record being 103, the average high 97 degrees. And across the state, most of us in the triple digits. Notice one exception that really stands out. Alpine, 88 degrees the high temperature. They had clouds and rain. They reported some rain, thunderstorms in the area, kept Alpine to 88 degrees. That's the exception. It's monsoon season in West Texas and parts of the desert Southwest, so they're actually getting in on some rainfall out there. Around here, not so much. 106 the high in Del Rio. Kerrville made it to 101. Gonzales, your high temperature, 105. You look at July overall. Now that it's come to an end and we're in August, we've got all the data for July. 4.6 degrees above average here in San Antonio. 23 100-degree days, with the hottest being 106. That was the hottest high temperature happening on the 13th, earlier in the month. And it did go down to the books as the second hottest July on record. Only second to last year. Now, today we were fortunate to see a little bit of activity on the radar screen, mostly east and northeast of San Antonio, but we had a few brief showers out there east of town and northeast of town because this little ripple in the upper level flow snuck in underneath the heat high, which is centered over Oklahoma. So it was able to sneak its way into Texas here, come in from the coastline and give us some of those bubbly cumulus congestus clouds, along with a few of those highly isolated and brief showers. But that's it. Nothing else going forward in the at least the next 7 days. But I mentioned monsoon season, and you see all the shower activity, West Texas, New Mexico, even into Arizona and parts of the desert Southwest. The upper level high, of course, it lingers. It's going to be moving around a little bit, but generally west of us is where it's going to be centered as we get into this time next week. I wish I could say that really is going to favor rainfall, but it's just not at this point. That rain, when you look at the potential all across the U.S. and even Texas, it's just not here. It's not in our neck of the woods, unfortunately. Tomorrow we start the day at 78 degrees. It's going to be a familiar day. Some clouds early, then mostly sunny in the afternoon. By noon, we're at 93. 4 o'clock, we hit 101. And by 5 o'clock, we're up to 102. That's what we're expecting for our high temperature, at least in San Antonio. Rock Springs, 99. Eagle Pass, 103. Cotulla, 105. Lavernia 103 tomorrow, Stone Oak 102, Timberwood Park 101. More triple digits, that's the bottom line. One saving grace is at least during the hottest part of the day, our dew points drop off, so the humidity falls quite a bit. It's sticky out there right now. It is at night and in the morning, but once we get to the hottest part of the day, we get rid of some of that humidity, the drier air mixes down, and that keeps the heat index at least within check, within 1 to 2 degrees of the actual air temperature. I put the records on the top so you can compare the record highs to the forecast. But as I said before, 5 of the next 7 days, we are predicting to tie or even break the record high temperature. I want to point out a beautiful moon out there this evening. If you looked off to the east as it was rising, beautiful full sturgeon moon out there tonight. That's what you're seeing.
It's pretty. Something nice to look up.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right. So the Cowboys, I'm going to say a big part of their success could do with this guy, and the emphasis is big.
Big, yeah. Tyron Smith is like a mountain of a guy. When you stand next to him, it's pretty darn intimidating, I'll be honest. So he's missed a lot of games, though, recently because of injuries. He only played 4 last year due to a torn hamstring. So what is he doing to try to stay healthy this year? Plus, our BGC previews continue with the Seguin Matadors coming up.
Matador football means family. That's all it means. I grew up here in Seguin, so it's family.
What's Matador football mean to you?
It means a lot. My brothers have played here. My oldest brother graduated in 2016. He played football 4 years. Same thing with my other brother. He graduated in 2019. He played all 4 years football. So football's a big thing to me. I love it so much.
Everin and Holt both love playing football for the Seguin Matadors and Big Board Sports.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
The Dallas Cowboys are working hard in Oxnard, California, getting ready for the 2023 campaign. The boys are back in pads today after putting them on yesterday for the first time since arriving to camp last week. Now, one of the big question marks is left tackle Tyron Smith, one of the best in the league, but he's only played in 17 games the last 3 seasons due to injuries. So he was asked how is he approaching this season as he tries to stay on the field.
You know, I'm concentrating on staying on the small things and getting the work I need and getting the work after practice to get, stay on track with my, stay healthy on the field.
Mike said you've been since January, you've been there every day.
Yeah, I got to take care of the body. As you guys know, as you get older, you got to, listen more to your body and take care of it.
And if you're not convinced of the impact Cowboys training camp has, check it out. The Simi Valley and Oxnard girls flag football teams go bonkers when Dak, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Simi Fehoko, Brandon Cooks, and Coach Mike McCarthy join them for a picture. How awesome. Out in Houston, the Texans are going through camp in much hotter conditions than the Cowboys. Rookie defensive end Will Anderson Jr. is already the odds-on fave to win NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. And he's a very good listener when it comes to avoiding the quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's one thing we talk about every day. Coach say, stay away from the quarterback, and I'm not trying to get cussed out, so I'm staying away from the quarterback.
Yeah, you don't hit the guy in red. In 3 seasons at Bama, Anderson had 34.5 sacks. Up in Minnesota, the Vikings are wrapping up day 6 of their training camp. All eyes on the defense with new D coordinator Brian Flores taking the reins. UTSA alum Marcus Davenport is a part of that transition. And this is the first year in a while the linebacker did not spend the offseason rehabbing an injury. But when asked if it was a redemption year, well, his bar is set pretty high.
Redemption. Super Bowl is redemption. But did I do anything different? Shoot, I didn't have to recover my whole offseason. So, it was always good to kind of be ahead of where I was.
Davenport had some highs and lows last year, like finishing last season in New Orleans with just 1 assisted tackle. But he says it's a new year and he's only looking forward. We continue our big game coverage previews with Coach Craig Daly and his Seguin Matadors. Last season, the Matadors went 6-5 overall, 4-3 in District 12, 5A D1, advancing to the first round of the playoffs. They have 15 starters coming back, 7 on offense and 8 on defense. Players to watch are QB Corey Daly and linebacker Gavin Gill. The Matadors built a great foundation last season, and they're looking to get even better this season.
The team learned how to work together as a team. I know back a couple years back we really didn't work together, but now we're starting to create this bond that we never had with these new coaching staffs and stuff. It's really putting us together.
We learned quite a bit. We learned how to work together as a team, and we just learned to create a bond with each other, like at a personal level, not just on the field. We come together and we help each other with whatever we need.
The countdown is on. Seguin kicks off its regular season later this month at Alamo Heights on August 25th at 7 p.m. The Astros trade for a 3-time Cy Young Award winner after the break. The Houston Astros traded for right-handed pitcher Justin Verlander, sending the Mets 2 minor leaguers in return today. Verlander is 40 years old and pitched for the Astros from 2017 to 2022. Guardians at the Astros tonight, top 9. Cleveland's Cam Gallagher lines out for the final out of the game, and they are celebrating because Framber Valdez tossed a no-hitter. It's the first solo no-no by an Astros pitcher since Justin Verlander in 2019. So it's a great day to be the Astros. They win 2-0, and the first-place Rangers shut out the White Sox 2-0. In Texas League action, the Missions outscored the Arkansas Travelers 6-3, taking Game 1 of that 6-game series.
Last month, we have seen just amazing, miraculous healing in that knee, and it's made everybody walk a lot better. The better Frank walks, the better all of us walk around here.
UTSA head football coach Jeff Traylor was worried about his star QB Frank Harris, so Frank had his knee scoped after last season. Then he suffered some complications, but Harris is feeling better, and that's so great to hear. The Roadrunners kick off fall camp tomorrow.
Yeah, the coach not shy about the fact how Frank goes is how UTSA is good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks, Larry.
You got it.
I'll be right back.
It's a new month, and there are new ways you can get out and help your community. Tomorrow on GMSA, we are talking about some new KSAT community events and how you can make a big difference. Be sure and tune in starting at 4:30.
Looking ahead, City Council District 10 will host their annual back-to-school backpack and supplies giveaway.
So the event is going to be happening this Saturday from 9 to noon at Blessed Angels Community Center on Nacogdoches Road. People can get free backpacks, school supplies, diapers, and food. They're going to be given out throughout the day while supplies last. And of course, we have more information on KSAT.com.
Glad they're doing that. Also on KSAT.com, here's something that will grab Spurs fans' attention. The team auctioning autographed items from 3 Alamo City legends to commemorate their enshrinement into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and those autographed items are from Tony Parker, Greg Popovich, and Becky Hammon. The auction opened tonight, right at the start of the Nightbeat. If you want more information on the items that are up for sale, just look for this article on KSAT.com.
Tomorrow morning, we start the day at 78. By noon, we're already up to 93, then 102 the high. The record being 103. So we're feeling more of the triple-digit heat. It's here, and it's going to stay in place for the time being.
All right. Please stay safe. Stay cool tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Have a great night.